Blimey. Yes, so Hairless here. Today we have Requiem Pour Un Fou, and this is Lara Fabian with Johhny Hallyday. The translation is Requiem for a Madman. This was the winner of my most recent members poll for which Lara reaction to do next. Johhny and Lara, it's a duet between her and a French superstar. Comments I've received recommending this song have said that this is a masterpiece, it's extraordinary, the greatest duet in history, one comment said. It's from 1998 and I've been told it's performed in the torrential rain. How atmospheric. I'm also told there's a full orchestra and choir, so I'm expecting quite a big sound. I'm ashamed to say I didn't know the original song by Johhny Hallyday in the 70s, but I did listen to it a few times just before coming to film this as I was shaving my head. I loved it. I think it's a really well written song. There are a lot of very, very cool musical elements in there. It's in French, so I've had a look at the lyrics and their translation, which you can see on screen now. Very dramatic. Almost operatic in some respects. It's a fairly long performance. This video is just over 6 minutes. I'm very keen to hear what Lara and Johhny do here. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. It's like Beethoven, that. Got goosebumps already.
Je vous préviens, n'approchez pas. Que vous soyez flic ou badaud, je tue celui qui fait un pas. Je ne ferai pas de cadeau. Éteignez tous ces projecteurs et baissez mon fusil braqué. Non, je ne vais pas m'envoler sans elle.
Dis ton curé, dis ton pasteur.
Cool. It's been 1 minute 40 already. I'm very, very sorry. I'm going to be annoying and do the first analysis pause here because there's already been so much. We will get to Lara very shortly, don't worry. If you don't want to hear my analysis, go to the timestamp. Wow, I was in a different world there. The song's barely even started. We've just had the first verse, but already so much going on to really contribute to the feel. I don't know, it's affecting me quite a bit, this performance. I'd hope it would be for you too. Well, look, there's still a lot to go, but let's go over and talk about what we've heard so far. So the first thing, the key. This is in A sharp minor. The original is in D. A fair bit higher. Maybe they've moved it down so it's easier for Johhny to sing as he's significantly older than when he sang back in the 70s. Also, we've just seen Lara come in. Being lower means that she can sing the higher parts in that powerful chest voice of hers easier, so maybe these are the two reasons. The stylistic difference in this arrangement and performance versus the original song, oh, it's amazing. It's a complete change. I'll talk about this in a second, but just to show clips of the opening, here's the original.
Je vous préviens, n'approchez pas.
Compared to this. This is much more like a requiem. Traditionally, and by definition, a requiem is a mass for the dead. So why is it so much more in line with that than the original? Well, we have the choir. So good for creating this atmosphere for a requiem. The most famous requiem is probably Mozart's unfinished requiem. We can see some similarities. And then here. Notice the gradual harmonic movement too. How the chords are changing slowly and gradually so the parts don't need to jump around to fit in with this chord and then that chord. On that note, and the second thing I want to point out, it's the bass line. The whole cycle from the start to about 30 seconds later, finishing here. And then the cycle repeats. So the whole of that, the bass line is falling chromatically. And then it goes back up, and then it repeats. These are literally the smallest movements the bass line can do whilst moving in one direction downwards and changing note with each chord, so not repeating the same note. If you've seen my videos before, you'll know that I love chromaticism when it's used well. I think it's such a powerful musical tool, often used to epitomize anguish and sorrow. This is a requiem, so we couldn't really have a more fitting musical landscape in that regard. So how do we have all these chords that change and still have this perfectly falling chromatic bass line? Well, in short, each note the bass line has fits in with the chords around it in one way or another. Let's hop over to the piano to see this visually, because it will be easier than me trying to explain. These are the chords. Now if we add in the chromatically descending bass line, here it's the root note. In this next chord we can see it's not the root note, it's the third note of the chord but being played at the bottom. Then the next chord, it's the root note again. Then the next chord, it's the third note again played at the bottom. Then it's the root note, not the root note. This one's quite interesting, it's what makes this chord a diminished chord. And then finally the root note again to end the cycle. So we have this falling bass line. It's gradual, it's constant, long, sustained notes. We have the choir, disjointed notes, irregular and infrequent. There's one other main feature. The strings, these incessant repeated notes, constant, irregular, frequent, disjointed, minimal movement. Between these three ideas, the strings, the choir, the bass line, everything is covered, you know, we have really everything there. That's dramatic, isn't it? We have more instrumentation now, so the texture is thickened, and if we hear just there, there's a dissonance caused by a slight delay in the changing of the chords in these new instruments that we hear. So the old chord is kind of temporarily suspended into the new chord, so there's a little clash before it then resolves. This causes extra tension. So we've got the tension building, we're getting anxious, at least I am. The choir no longer disjointed. I'm thinking, what's going to happen next? Well, Johhny enters, and his voice, I love the mix of this hoarse, kind of half speech singing.
Je vous préviens, n'approchez pas, que vous soyez flic.
The mix of that and
Je ne ferai pas.
the rather melodic, sustained note at the top of the phrase and the power behind it that we just heard. And also, last thing before we carry on, as he enters, we get a very militaristic beat come in.
Je vous préviens, n'approchez pas, que vous soyez flic.
It's kind of very foreboding, isn't it? Alright, let's carry on. We had Lara just come in.
Dis ton curé, dis ton pasteur, qu'ailleurs ils aillent se faire pendre. Le diable est passé de bonheur, et mon âme n'est plus aveugle. Si vous me laissez cette nuit, alors je vous donnerai ma vie. À quoi me servirait ma vie sans lui?
Par amour, elle a fait de moi un fou d'amour.
Le ciel s'éteint, ses yeux
Blimey, this is really good. The word epic comes to mind. It's just huge, just massive. I kind of want to go on, but copyright is tough, and I have things to mention from what we've just heard, so let's go over that quickly before carrying on. So Lara's entry, she goes straight up. That's high. Up to that D sharp. Yeah, I think this is definitely a reason for performing in a lower key, so Lara can do this. Maybe also to exaggerate the contrast, as this is a duet between Johhny and Lara. Low and high, man and woman. Don't really need to talk too much about Lara's part, do we? I mean, let's just listen. Just so much power, and the slight reverb effect too that we hear, it makes the sound so large, even larger than it already is. At the end of this phrase, the notes aren't at the, how do I say, the correct pitch, the expected pitch of the melody here. Johhny had something similar earlier. People might say, oh, it's out of tune. I say technically yes, but I love it. It shows the emotion they're putting into this performance. She's half shouting, speaking at this point anyway. It's a performance, it's dramatic. She's punching her chest as she's singing. What a performer. And for a live performance too? Just so good. We know how amazing Lara is. I feel I can say that. Even though I've only seen 6 other performances by her, this is number 7. And we've had everything already. We've had powerful belted chest voice or blended voices. We get this bit as well. Low, airy voice from her a little bit. Everything. As for the chemistry between these two, wow. Sexual tension, basically. And if we look at the song's lyrics, yeah, you'd really believe that these are two lovers singing like their life depends on it. Like they really don't want to live a life if it's without the other. If we go back a bit, I think this arrangement's great. They've done so much to really encompass the idea of it being a requiem. We can hear elements of, again, to refer to the famous one, Mozart's one. Especially the instruments we can hear, parts of the clarinet family. Such a good sound for this type of music. And just to highlight the difference between this and the original song, how much more sort of serious, excuse my lack of a better word there, this one is. That was the end of the verse. Let's compare to the same moment in the original. How jumpy and jazzy is that? Here, pure theatricalism. And I personally haven't really seen Lara used too much of her head voice before. That's high. That's the top of a typical chorus as expected range. And nearly all of my Lara reactions have been from her concert From Lara with Love. You can check out my Lara playlist up here. And that was a couple of years after this, so this is actually the youngest I've ever seen her. Alright, let's carry on from where we got to.
Le jour se lève, la nuit pâlit, les chasseurs et les chiens ont faim. C'est l'heure de sonner la lali. La bête doit mourir ce matin.
Je vais ouvrir grand les volets. Refais-moi le cœur, je suis prête. Je veux m'endormir pour toujours, pour toujours.
Je n'étais qu'un fou, mais pas. Je sais que vous l'aimez.
Not gonna lie, I completely forgot to do another pause. Hopefully this video doesn't get blocked or taken down. Wow. I can see why the comments were so complimentary about this performance. Really, really phenomenal. Yeah, wow. I'm going to listen to this a few more times, well, more than a few. One time focusing on the choir, another time on the orchestra, another time on them. There was so much going on. It was just so overwhelming, but not in a bad way. Very emotionally engaging. Well, let's go over some points from the final section there. From where we carried on, there's just so much good about it. The grit in Johhny's sound.
Les chasseurs et les chiens ont faim.
He's saying here the hunters and the dogs are hungry.
C'est l'heure de sonner la lalie. La bête doit mourir ce matin.
And then the beast must die this morning. And then Lara's entry.
Je vais ouvrir grand les volets. Referme-moi le cœur, je suis prêt.
I'm just speechless. I've just got permanent goosebumps at this point. How she sings that is almost comical. If we just isolate her vocals, what she does. The grit, the sliding between notes.
Je vais ouvrir grand les volets.
But it's mesmerizing. I said in my previous Lara reaction, which was her cover of Caruso, how that song, it was made to be sung in Italian. Some languages just work better in different situations for different songs. This song, the lyrics, how the words sound, how the words are produced in the mouth, all the sounds used to create the story. Definitely French would be the best one here. By the way, please do check out my reaction to Lara's cover of Caruso. Card will be up here. After this performance we've just seen, I don't think anyone would dare to cover this in another language. Maybe people have, maybe there are some great performances out there, but I think let's leave this one. Lara and Johhny here have achieved the song's maximum potential. So on top of everything else we're hearing, now we hear suspensions and the horns really coming through, cutting through the sound. Suspending the note from the previous chord after the chord is changed to increase tension because it doesn't fit, and then the chord resolves to fit. But then when the chord changes again, that one is suspended again, and the cycle repeats. Tension, resolution, tension, resolution. And there are a lot of other nice instrumental lines in the orchestra that we can hear. For example, the top line in this bit I'm about to play. And if we listen to it again, Lara then joins it after it comes down. So she's singing the same line. The line is strengthening her now. So what's she doing here? Well, she's falling melodically and she's implementing a lot more air into her voice. Overall, falling air, it's a weaker sound, strengthened by the top line joining her. That's great, isn't it? That unexpected jump straight up into her head voice. And then we get those iconic headbangs of hers that I pointed out in my reactions to her from the From Lara with Love concert. I find them very, very interesting. And then before this huge ending, we get Johhny going for it too. Lara kind of purposefully stays just under the note. Again, just increasing the tension that we feel. And then she goes up into her head voice. And back down to finish with the powerful chest voice of hers. Well, that's quite the performance, really. Yeah, I understand the comments that everyone left about that. Some performances, they're just powerful. You know, just emotional, powerful. They conjure up feelings in the body completely against your will. With me, it's goosebumps on the arms and then kind of shivers in my spine. Great atmosphere, the aesthetic, the choir, the orchestra in blue, and Lara and Johhny lit up. The rain as well makes it much more atmospheric. Yeah, all round superb performance. Really, really enjoyed that. I'm going to go away and listen to it a number of more times. On that note, let's leave that one there. As always, thank you very much for watching. Would appreciate a like and subscribe. If you enjoy my content, want to support me, join the community, vote on polls and get access to exclusive perks, you can do so by joining the Patreon linked on the screen now, and I will see you next time.